This is my jam. This is my jam. This is my jam. This is my jam. Woo-loo-loo. Loo-loo-loo-loo. Listen, I can't help being who I am. Hi, what's up? Welcome to the Audra Rain Show. I am your host, Audra Rains, and contrary to popular belief or comments that were made on my short about Gen Z, I am in fact an adult. Next month, I will be 44. I am an adult. And I would like to say to the people who were like, who said life should be fair and welcome to adulthood, I encourage you to get some help. I'm so serious. You need therapy, intense therapy, like the most amount of therapy that you can get, because you have to ask yourself a very important question of why do you think that because your life was hard, that everyone else should have it hard? It actually just shouldn't be like this at all, is the fun fact. It shouldn't actually be like this at all. So relax. Also, for those trying to make it a competition, I didn't say that millennials didn't have it hard. I said Gen Z grew up hopeless and is growing up hopeless. As a person on the cusp, born in 1980, I'm between Millennial and Gen X. I just want you to know, I grew up with hope. I grew up with a semblance of like, I could do something with my life. It was dashed. The hopes were dashed at some point, but I grew up with like a semblance of hope, and it really wasn't crushed until around 9/11. And even then it got built back up, and then we had like, we had the housing crash, but we also had Obama that came in with the first time home buyer credit. So I still had hope going in. These young folks today, it's a giant pile of dookie. It's just dookie for them. Like, it's just like, could you imagine growing up in this right now? Like having, what is there to look forward to? Anyways, it looks like randomly the comments fixed on here, and I genuinely don't know how. I wish I could tell you how I did it, but they're popping back up now, and I don't know what to say except for hooray. All right, so welcome to the show. This seems like an appropriate mug. And I saw, who said that? I'm gonna need that hoodie. Felisa, this was like merch I made a long time ago. And I'm one of those people that wears my own merch because I made it for me. I always thought it was weird. People were like, oh, you can't wear your own merch. I'm like, I made it for me. I literally made this because I wanted to wear it. So like, yeah, Don, our hopes got crushed. Like we had an idea, because like everything's going backwards now. That's the thing that people aren't thinking about. Like even Gen X, millennials, we were seeing like gay marriage become legalized. We were seeing all of these, things go well. And now everything's just like all of diversity, all of it's being slid back. I don't know how you're supposed to have hope at all with that. So BlackRock owns all the homes. The bank owns all the people. Listen, that's actually why I wanted to talk about the TikTok ban today. Now, to talk about it, I have to talk about a situation that I think a lot of people have heard about or have watched videos on, but me personally, I haven't seen people talk about it from the perspective of understanding how TikTok works. So just a quick rundown. There was a situation with Manny MUA and a smaller creator named Gabby. Gabby's on TikTok. Manny made one of his trademark 2016 snub videos where you talk out of the side of your mouth about somebody. And because you are a larger creator, you are allowed to get away with it and bully them because like they won't say anything. That's really what happened there. Unfortunately for him, as a brand owner, didn't understand TikTok. So for anybody who ever has it in their head that like, oh, Gabby shouldn't have responded or both of them did something wrong, actually fully incorrect. Gabby had zero chances of not responding to this because for those of you who don't understand TikTok, which a lot of people don't, that's fine. The thing about TikTok is the Federal Bureau of TikTok investigators won't let bullying slide. Now, if they bully you because you did something wrong, it's how it works. I'm not going to say it's right, but the thing is, they don't allow for that. And they will find out who you're talking about, which they did, and then actively let Gabby know, hey, Manny's talking out the side of his mouth about you, girl. Manny's talking out the side of his mouth about you. And the main thing here is that the content that he took and used, he reposted her, and the content that he took and reposted, he made shoppable. He was making money off of her content for free. And the thing that I really noticed about this is it really shows how little he understood about TikTok and how far behind he is when he made that video. Like, as a brand owner, he shouldn't have made it at all, period. I understand that in 2016, a repost did something for you. Exposure was magic. It's not magic now. It does nothing for most people these days. I've been reposted quite a few times, and it doesn't do anything for my IG or my Instagram or any of those things. Like, people are just like, cool, where can I buy this? And that's fine. I'm not expecting a big following. I actually don't really like it. It stresses me out. It stresses me out that there's 12,000 people on this channel. And I'm really glad that only like 1.6K of you watch things, because the stress that it gives me when anytime a video gets higher than that, I get like gassy. But Manny being Manny. Hello, everyone. But yeah, the thing is, he made that little video trying to talk about a smaller creator who was upset that, you know, they didn't get credit on the repost. It wasn't the repost that they were really annoyed about. They were annoyed that you made it a shoppable link. That's you're making money off of someone and you're not paying them. And I'm not sure on what planet we think that is okay, but it's not this one. And I am so surprised and shocked by the amount of people who are trying to excuse that behavior, to be honest, because a lot of the creators who would even excuse it, I'm just like, hello, you're not going to allow anybody to take your work for free. If you have 50,000 subscribers, there's no way. You're definitely going to reach out to the brand and be like, hey, if you have 10,000 subscribers, 15,000, you're like, hey, you're getting paid. I'm not getting paid. And that is my work. Like, it's one thing to repost me. It's a whole other to repost me and make the link shoppable. But the main thing here, two main things. You got to pay the creators. I'm always going to be on the creator side. You have to pay them. But the other is how little people understand TikTok, its algorithms, and how it works. You can't bully people like you did back in the day. The days of Jeffree Star being on Snapchat, being all wild and wicked and laughing evilly and not naming people. The days of getting on Twitter and just talking shit out of the side of your mouth about somebody but not naming them are over. Like, people aren't going to let you do that anymore. And that's the thing about TikTok. TikTok does not play like that. They're like, oh, so-and-so's talking smack. Let's find out. They're going to investigate. They're going to find out. Gabby did nothing wrong in this situation because her other option was what? To pretend like people weren't going to keep flooding her comments with it? Is the question. And I understand that maybe you just don't know how TikTok works, or you don't want to know. I understand that new technology is hard. Like, I'm using OBS now to stream, and this used to be something I did not want to do because I thought that OBS was hard to use. Okay. I thought it was hard. And because I thought it was hard, I was like, who cares? I don't even need it. I'm just going to keep using StreamYard. It's fine. The real reason I didn't like it was because I couldn't use it. And I just wish more creators would be honest about the fact that they don't like TikTok, and they don't like TikTok because they don't understand how it works. They don't like TikTok because they don't understand that the algorithm doesn't work like YouTube. So on YouTube, you have a high subscriber count. Guess what? They're going to keep recommending your video. But on TikTok, people have to actually like you. They have to like your personality. They have to find you interesting. Beauty content. I know this, like, of you just be like, doesn't work there. Like, that's not, I know I have a TikTok somewhere that looks like that. It's ridiculous. But like, that works on IG. It doesn't work on TikTok. Like, if you were to, the TikTok beauty I see is usually somebody doing something kind of funny, like 5 reasons you need to submit to your husband. And then they sit there quietly, put on their makeup. They say nothing. You get upset at first because you think you're on the wrong side of TikTok. Turns out you're fine. You're on the right side of TikTok. And they have a good look. Fantastic. Most of it's transition content. It's not a lot of like, or reviews. Like, that's it. But I don't really follow anybody who does reviews because, again, I don't really follow white creators on TikTok, especially for beauty, because I want to see my beautiful brown people out there doing makeup, looking fabulous, and not getting sold something every 5 seconds. So there's that too. But it amazes me how few people understand TikTok, and they hate it. And people always hate things that they don't understand. Just a general rule. If you don't understand something, there's a large tendency to hate it, right? Like, there's so many things in my life that I have been like, I hate this because I can't figure it out. Once I figure it out, I'm like, oh, pff. Now, if you wanted to use OBS to stream, and I know you, and you're like, hey, how do I do da-da-da? I'm like, ask me questions. I have some answers. And if I can't find them, I'm happy to look it up because I probably want to do that too. There's a huge difference in how YouTube behaves and how TikTok behaves. And if you're on TikTok quite a bit, like I am, you definitely see the difference. And a big difference there is that people on TikTok, they're going to catch you in your lies, and they're not really going to allow people to get bullied. Like, Jalopity Staircase has gotten caught on multiple occasions trying to act like wild things are happening to him. Unfortunately, while he's filming, so are they. So the olden days of YouTube and exposure being the thing, that's dead and gone. Please stop trying to expect people to like take this crumb in a world where content creation is an actual job. Like, the reason that exposure worked back in the past is because brands then only gave PR to huge creators, and that was it. Once in a while, they would grace one of us little people down here. But most of the time, it was only huge creators. So that's why exposure mattered. Because if you had 10,000 followers on Instagram and a big brand reposted you, you could easily shoot up to 50,000 because of the fact that that was not done. They were only reposting people like Manny. So yeah. Also, if you're a small creator and you're worried that your content is not good, and you have all the equipment, and you've been doing the things like blah, 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 I need you to know it's the algorithm. Calm down. It'll be fine. If you're creating because you enjoy it and also would like a little side, just relax, share it, and enjoy what you have. I'll just say that. But I said all of that to say that those are also some of the same people who are really glad that TikTok might be banned. Whoop, back around. So we know if you are a U.S. citizen or you live in the U.S., you're very much aware that the real reason behind the TikTok ban has very little to do with our data being mined and stolen by the Chinese government, right? Like, drop some emojis or something in the chat to let me know that you know that, because I know it. We're all aware that it's not that, because if that were the case, obviously Facebook wouldn't be allowed to operate. Neither would Instagram. None of these, Twitch, or Twitter, all of these things, none of them would be allowed to operate, obviously, if sharing of our information was the problem and data mining our information is the problem. The problem is that it's open for us to be able thank you, Dawn. The real issue is obviously that we as a people are able to band together and be angry and stop things in a way that we could not do before. Like, we see what's happening with Kellogg's, right? Is it with an S? Like I can never decide. Is it Kellogg's or is it Kellogg? Because I don't really mess with cereal. Like I will eat it dry, but I don't like milk because I don't like the way that milk looks and I don't like the way that it smells. And it takes a lot for me to even put cream in my coffee. Like I just have to like remind myself like this isn't that. No, never. Not on social media. Yeah. Like the fact that we as a people are able to find out information, disseminate it amongst us, and act accordingly makes the US government so angry because we can take them down. We can be like, no thanks. We're good. Like, yes, there is too much information being shared by the poors. Way too much information is being shared by the poors. I got you, Felicia. I was like, I was right here, right here. And yeah, and it's one thing not to like TikTok because you don't like short form content. That's a completely different thing. But there's a lot of people, I think, especially in beauty. Here's what I'm gonna say happened. This is my conjecture. I'm going to say that TikTok started coming up and everybody's like, oh, that's so stupid. It's a kid's app, but whatever. Then it starts blowing up. You see people like Michaela making bank over there. By the time you decide to jump on and get it, like you don't understand how the app works at all. And you don't understand that authenticity is more important there than it is anywhere else. And it reminds me a lot of like when YouTube started to pop off as a platform. IG used to be the space for beauty with all those like cards where somebody would remember where people have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, however many of like their eye look showing you how they got there. And you would like follow it by the square. That used to be the spot for beauty. And the thing is, a lot of people were like, oh, I don't want to go to YouTube, like blah, 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 blah. Like Instagram is the place to be. By the time they decided to try to move over there, I don't know how long y'all had Instagram, but I had Instagram in the follow for follow. I had Instagram in the let's do groups. Like I was in a group at one point in time where we would do like group giveaways to help grow our platform together. It was not fun. I hated it. I hated it. Yes, I would love a book where actual poor share information, like an underground door where doors. Oh, yeah, I would like that too. This is where you come in. Like when I was showing James, giving him a tour of this room, there's a little door over here to the attic, but I was like showing him around and I was like, this is the door to hell. And then I kept going and he was like, wait a minute, the door to hell. Yeah, I've seen good and bad information on TikTok. I Google things. That's the thing. I don't just take it as gospel. I had to start learning lessons here and be like, wait, what? But we learned, El Boogie, I hope you do well with your test. But yeah, like we're fully aware that like there are people who didn't get on board fast enough. And then when people tried to go from Instagram to YouTube, like we all know that there's a boatload of dead channels that like dead beauty channels of people who tried to go from Instagram to YouTube. And what they didn't understand, they're two completely different platforms. And Instagram was all about the aesthetic and for the most part still is. Whereas YouTube was about you being able to be personable and have a conversation and talk to the camera and talk to your subscribers and have people feel like you are in fact talking to them. Also, thank you to everybody who's listening to this on the replay. And thank you to everybody who's just listening. I appreciate it. These are all saved in a podcast format called The Audra Rain Show. So thanks. But I see the same thing happening with TikTok. If you didn't make it over there or you just couldn't figure it out, you just got like pissed off. And also the fact that you couldn't get people from YouTube to go to TikTok to follow you there made people angry. And it was the same thing with Instagram. You know, people would get mad that they would have 15,000 followers on Instagram and could barely manage to get 500 subscribers on YouTube. I'm just going to use subscribers or followers interchangeably. It's fine. But you could barely manage to get that because this is a completely different platform. And so when we talk about this ban, the thing that I think a lot of creators need to take into consideration before being like, well, good, da, 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 you need to think about what this means for us as creators, because This is really bad for creators. Free Palestine, yes. And the free thinking young folks, because traditionally what has happened in the US especially is that people get older and became more conservative. And that's not happening. um, it's not happening at the rate it used to happen. What we're seeing more and more is that younger people are more accepting, loving, and caring than their older counterparts, like older counterparts. And there's not nearly as many millennials, Gen X, soon to be Gen Z. Like there's not nearly enough of them moving to the conservative side, unless it's for a grift, in which case, hi Pearl, how you doing? But yeah, like there are so many just terrifying wars and violence that is happening around the world that our country is perpetuating. And the only way we're able to get accurate information or even semi-accurate information is from sources like TikTok, because we're actually able to see people who are there experiencing this on the ground to tell us what's happening. Because obviously Twitter isn't Twitter anymore. It's run by that tiny megalomaniac with hair plugs who keeps trying to say like wild things to people. Grifts are huge on TikTok. You just have to be on the right side of TikTok. Like, and I say this with most platforms. YouTube is it's getting there. Its algorithm is getting there. And if you're a beauty content creator who hated TikTok because you didn't blow up, like it's not the same thing. Like I don't even understand, like YouTube shorts, don't get it. I make them from time to time. I don't like them because like on TikTok, you can pick a sound and then the sound plays throughout the entirety of your video. On YouTube, they're like, no, but listen, we got music. And you're like, but it's 15 seconds and my TikTok is 44 seconds long. Now I kind of look like an insane person with Beyonce's music playing at the beginning and then just me silently getting ready the rest of the time. It's awkward. Well, and that's the other thing. One day, listen, this is going to be one of those streams where we like riff off of each other because I'm really excited to talk about a few things. So yeah, financial talk is another reason why they're banning it. Because people are able to like have conversations about how you can fix your credit for free. Like people are on there talking about how you fix your credit for free, how to file your taxes, why doing this or that is wrong, why it's better for you to not pay creditors, why you shouldn't answer your phone. I can tell you why you shouldn't answer your phone. If you're not old and you're young and you're younger and you're watching this, don't answer any unknown number, even if it looks like a number in your area, even if you're waiting on a call from a job, because you know what? They'll leave you a message. You can listen to the message and you can call the job back and set everything up. The reason you don't want to answer it is because of zombie credit. And it's basically if you owed, let's use company A money, like it was a credit card and you just didn't have the money, they charge off the debt at some point, they sell it to another creditor, and then they no longer have it on their books, so they don't care anymore. So now it's over at company B. Company B's trying to call you, you don't pick up. Then they end up selling it to company C. And it just keeps getting sold. But every time you pick up that phone and say it's you and they try to collect the debt, it reactivates the debt on your credit and you shouldn't have to deal with that. Listen, Natalie, I won't either. I'm never going to understand it. It like actually blows my mind. Oh my God, I look so glowy. I have products tagged because I just figured out how to do it. Listen, Jen from Jen Love was like, Audra, why don't you just tag some of the stuff that you wear? And I was like, I don't know how. Just like with TikTok, I was like, who cares? I don't even need to do that. It doesn't even matter. Turns out I just wasn't following YouTube's instructions properly. Instructions? What are those? Why would I use them? But TikTok, losing TikTok is bad for creators because where are they going to go? That's the main question, because people are like, oh, they can go to IG. No. IG Reels is a nightmarish place to be. to make content. Do you know how annoying it is to like see like a cute animal and then you scroll and you're looking at the comments and then there's somebody who's like, why isn't it in the wild? And you're like, why are you ruining the fun? We were all sitting here looking at this adorable baby sloth, hard eyes, feeling joy in our hearts and our spirits. And here you come with your, why isn't it in the wild? First of all, asshole, we're literally on a page that rescues animals, that saves them. It's an animal refuge. But second, let people enjoy things sometimes. Thanks. Yeah, that's not going to be a good place for them. Most creators know that. And if you didn't know that, you would know that if you were on TikTok, because when people post some stuff on TikTok, somebody will go, post this on IG Reels. That's not a compliment. They're expecting you to go over there and get roasted. That's why they tell people to do that. If you've ever seen that in anybody's comments, that's why they've done it. They were doing it to Dylan Mulvaney, who I've listened to her song. The chorus is not great. The rest of the song is pretty good. It's just like regular pop, just FYI. Like I could deal without the chorus, but the song itself, good time. And I'm going to work as hard as I can to shoot it to number one, because if there's one thing I despise, it's transphobes. And I would like to make sure that they have to eat their words and feel bad. Listen, the song is song. It's fun. Actually, I listened to it on stream last night. It's not bad. It's just the chorus. The da 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 da. That part's not great, but the actual song is good. I've been left my whole life. Conservative values never made sense to me. Me neither, because what are we trying to conserve? That's what I just never got. I was like, what are we trying to conserve? Ooh, thank you, Natalie. And I'm so glad you said girly. Listen, who else? Like, I feel like you have also been watching the Do We Know Them podcast, which I love. Hi, girlies. I love it when they said at the beginning. They, honestly, it's between them, Peter Mon, Shits and Gigs, The Basement Yard. Like, YouTube-wise, Mika's Rhetoric. Let me think of who else. Khadijah and Bao. These folks have been keeping me from, like, just losing my shit at work. I've been like sending Marco Polos to friends, and I'm like, hi, welcome to Cafe USPS, because I'll also, just another side note, I have lots of them. I just want to tell y'all, turns out my problem with sandwiches is the condiments. Bread, meat, and cheese, perfect. I've been making these bread, meat, and cheese sandwiches because I buy these like, they're Mexican croissants. And I buy these, like, it's in a 2-pack, and I buy the Mexican croissants, and then I get one of those little, like, adult Lunchables, and then I take the meat and the cheese, and then I just, like, make myself, because there's 6 pieces of meat and 6 pieces of cheese. So I have 2 little sandwiches and have some chips, and I just sit in there be like, eating my little sandwich, have a plastic knife, cut it open. Beauty podcasts. So I don't listen to a lot of beauty podcasts. I think I don't really listen to a lot of beauty content generally, and I don't watch a lot of it, but I don't watch a lot of it because I can't listen to most of it. That's the issue. But like, if people are wondering why it's going the way that it's going, like my theory on why the beauty community is fading and the content isn't doing as well, I would definitely say that it is because in 2020, everybody had an opportunity to advance and change the community, and they didn't. They continued with status quo. So now it's here. There was definitely an opportunity to change the way that the community was behaving, and they went with status quo. So this is where we are. Yeah, sometimes all the extra stuff can turn you off of a sandwich, for real. Like, I don't, like, I like mustard. That's what it was. I realized that when I was talking about the perfect proportions of like meat, like in the same, it's all the extra stuff. The only one I like is Beautiful and Bothered. I really wish there was more variety. It's a pretty untapped space. I swear that, listen, here's the thing. I'm trying to figure out how to say this. Fuck it. I don't do beauty anymore. The reason that you can't have a real beauty podcast is because the shit that you would say would ruin people's lives. If you talked about some of these creators, oh my God. And you would be seen as bitter and hateful. So it's like, no, there's not drama in the front. There's drama backstage behind the scenes and it's ugly. Like, no, and that's why nobody talks about stuff. Like that is my, I don't talk about things because I'm just like, yeah, nah. I don't need all that smoke. It's not even about like making people happy or like whatnot. Like, I just don't need all that smoke. I don't want no smoke. I'm fine. I'm fine. Yes, that is the reason why. The real reason why is because nobody wants the smoke. The smoke you would get if you were like, no, in real life, this person is blah, 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 blah. Whoop. Listen. We got to wait for some of these people to just stop creating content altogether. And then you can let all your secrets out, which is terrible. You should be able to let the secrets out now, but you can't. Because like their stands will come eat you alive. Come eat you alive. And you'll just be like, I said what I said. I still mean it. But like, I don't want to get eaten up every day either. And like, that's the other thing for TikTokers is it's like, they're used to making short form content. YouTube Shorts is not the way to go for a lot of folks. Like, I think that you can, and I've seen some people, like there's a guy named Andrew something. There's another girl who I can't remember her name, but those are two people that I know if I saw their faces right now, I'd be like, yeah, it's them and them. They've gotten to 1 million subscribers on YouTube, but they jumped on quickly. So they went from TikTok over to YouTube. And again, this is the thing. If you don't move platforms fast, then you're in trouble. And I think that they moved the first time that they thought that like TikTok was going to get banned. Andrew is the guy who does the things where he's like sweating like progressively. It's like, see you later, alligator. He's like, no. And at the end he goes, fuck. Yeah, I don't. So I have never, I feel like I've never seen anything by Johnny Ross, like podcast wise. Are they a nice person or are they funny? Notice. Are they a nice person or are they funny? Listen, let me live my life. Yeah, and this is the other thing too, is like the algorithm on TikTok is driven by me. Like when I'm watching TikTok, it is driven by what I like, not what TikTok wants me to like. Now, I will say every few TikToks, they will try to slide some bullshit in there, like a weird thirst trap of a young man. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't feel like he can even drink. Also, he's a he, and I am not interested. Also, block, right? Like I do both of those things. I'm like, block, not interested. Thank you. But that algorithm is very much driven by what I like and what I'm interacting with. And so I am choosing that. The thing is, if you are at a good spot on YouTube where the algorithm is regularly pushing you, you would not like TikTok generally, especially if you're just bland. Like a lot of people don't have personality, and that's fine. You know, I have too much of it sometimes, but a lot of people don't have enough personality to do TikTok, and they're also not sincere people. So like that being the case, they can't blow up over there because people just don't care. Like to put it in perspective, I have like 12,000 followers here, 12,000 subscribers here. I have 20K followers on TikTok, but the two don't intermingle. Do you know what I mean? I have like almost, I'm 6 away, maybe 4 away from 500 followers on Twitch. But everybody, all of these things don't intermingle. And the people who like TikTok don't like YouTube Shorts because the YouTube Shorts are running the same algorithm that YouTube runs. Virtual Lamb said, when I first heard about TikTok ban thing, I was wondering if they were going to try and say they were saving children or some righteous thing like that. And nope. Yeah, no, they're just like, China. That feels like The whole thing is just like, China. Meanwhile, literally everything we have is made in China. I don't understand. I'm like, that's really weird. The algorithm is so clearly different on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube is full of shadow bans. Yes. 100% Ocean. And I'm worried about these content creators because like their shorts is not an option for most of them if they didn't move over earlier. And then the other thing is if you're used to making short form content, YouTube, it really isn't the place for you because like just to be monetized. And I'm not saying that to be rude. I'm saying that because your video has to be a certain length for it to get monetized, unless of course it is a short. But again, the shorts algorithm may not help you. And so, Felisa, that right there, wait, hold on now. That's the word of the day. China can own our government's debt, but not an app. Listen, I love you. Virtual lamb, that is it too. China's making money. They need to sell it to a US billionaire so we can make the money. And I think that the push to getting everything to make ad revenue, because a lot of the money that people make on TikTok comes from their lives. So that's a huge difference. Like over on YouTube, like I don't make a ton of money doing live streams. And what I mean by that is on a TikTok live, if you've ever seen one, which listen, sometimes TikTok lives are cursed spaces. Actually, a lot of times it's a very uncomfortable situation over there, if I'm going to be honest. There's weird things happening on those lives. Can someone also explain to me the masked man epidemic that's going on over there, like the COD cosplay situation? Because I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. Please explain. Like, they're like, oh, there's all these masked men and they're hot. I look at it, I'm like, I don't understand. Maybe it's because they're not saying anything. And you know how much I hate it when men talk. So anyways, but on the TikTok lives, you would see, like, you know how if you, let me see if I can, I don't know if I can do it from here, but if like right now, if somebody were to press like the heart, like the little heart emoji, if you're on your phone or whatever, you'll see like hearts kind of pop up on the side of your chat when you do that. I'm not saying it so that you'll do it for me, but I'm giving you an idea, or thumbs up or a laughing emoji, like whatever they have on that little sidebar for you to choose from, you'll see it like fly up. When you see those fly up on TikTok, that is actual money. That is money. It's not just an emote or like, that is money. And that money is getting paid to that creator. So when you're seeing like remember, Pinky Doll, and she'd be like, da 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 da, and she was doing it based off of those emotes. That's why she was making so much money, like tons and tons of money, because people are just like dropping those. That is money. So mute men are hot. Yes, they really are. You're like, oh, well, hello. I noticed you can't speak. I'm so attracted to you right now. But yeah. So that does not really happen on YouTube. Like, people come into YouTube lives, obviously it depends. Like, if it's a fundraiser, that's one thing. If somebody's raising money for something that they need, like when Oz was raising money for his lawyer fees and whatnot, that's different. But just generally doing a YouTube live, I don't have people just like smashing super chat every 5 seconds. And like, that's what it's like on TikTok live. So that is another reason why this is such a big deal, because people are making a career out of this. And again, I know people like to talk shit about Jason Nash and be like, oh, it's so embarrassing for him, he's begging. But again, for all intents and purposes, if you've done content creation for 10 years, for any employer, you've been unemployed for 10 years. I think people just kind of have this disconnect of realizing that content creation has only been a job, like even recognized as a job for a short period of time, and being like paid work for a short period of time in the grand scheme of things. So you can't tell an employer, and if I were him, I wouldn't want to tell an employer that I was in social media, to be honest, because I wouldn't want them to see the shit I did. But he makes enough to like pay his bills and pay for his kids. So, I at the very least, I'm like, that's a good dad. He's trying to make money any way he can to take care of his kids. And I know people are like, well, why doesn't he just get a job? Like, what would you do? And he said himself he doesn't have any marketable skills. So like, girl anachronism. I hate trying to say words for the first time out loud. It makes me feel stupid. Like I've seen it before, but then I tried to say it out loud and was like, spell it out like you learned in phonics. Said the TikTok ban is a fascist move made by the U.S. government in attempts to control the narrative and the population and protect Israel. 100%. I agree with that. 1,000. Yes. Because again, we're able to, like, if you're even watching the movement of just women in general, women and non-binary femmes are like, yeah, I'm not gonna do any of that. Like I said a long time ago, even before I knew Eartha Kitt said this, not like, oh, but when I found out she said this, I was like, yes, because I don't believe in compromise in a relationship. I think that that's weird. I've always thought it's weird. I'm like, what am I compromising? Why would I compromise to be with you? That doesn't make any sense. I don't feel good about that. Like to me, I was like, no, absolutely not. If we don't just match, then I don't, no, no. Yeah, begging is just a turnoff. Plus, employers do check socials. They will find everything. 100%. There's no real way I think unless the place wanted to hire him very specifically because he was Jason Nash, I really feel like he would have a very difficult time trying to find a job, even if he had a marketable skill that would accept him with the things that he's done with David Dobrik. Not like with David Dobrik, but with David Dobrik. There's a lot of people like, and that's the thing, like people, I've run into authors on TikTok, like y'all, I found a Black author, Black fantasy. The first book is called Siren. That's not the name of the song. I'm so sorry. Listen. It's called Siren's Call. Let me, how do I go to the title thing? Here we go. This is it. It's by Jessica Cage. It's Siren's Call. It's her first book. I will say that there are a few things, but it sounds like it's read by a Black person, a Black woman as well. It's narrated by a Black person. I know that it is. I probably, if I asked her, she would be like, yes, it's narrated by a Black person. I could just tell by the intonations and the way that she's using her words. It's a very lovely story and I'm having a good time. So I think I'm going to continue the series. There are a few editorial, like the editor should have fixed a couple of things, but I like that. No, he did not get injured by David Dobrik, but I do believe he did the trickster, I don't want to call it trickster. I would call it SA with the kiss. So with TikTok being banned, and I think that as creators, we all need to be, if you're a creator, worried about the fact that at any point in time, and the reason that I think that this is important, like we've said that YouTube's not going to do space. I don't know where they're really going to go. Those who have already moved an audience over here, like T Noir, like, and there's a couple other creators I know that had an audience on TikTok, barely do anything on TikTok now and just do everything on YouTube. Again, they moved when the getting was hot and the getting was good, was what I should have said. But I don't think a lot of people are going to be able to come over and do long form content. It's just not for everybody. I don't think the shorts are going to work for everyone because, again, the algorithm over here is weird. But the thing that really, as content creators in general, we all should be worried about is that the government can and will at any point in time shut down your form of making money. Because the thing about TikTok is that it has also allowed loads of people to opt out of the corporate wage slave situation. I don't like to say wage slave, but There, here we are, been able to opt out of that. You have loads of young people who are opting out of working for their corporate overlords in any real capacity. So some are opting out of going deeply into debt and going to college, and instead are like, yeah, I work at McDonald's, and when they piss me off, I'll go work over here. When they piss me off, I'll go work over here. Like, why would they? Why wouldn't they? Jeff Whittick got injured. Jason Nash is begging. I don't know why, but that sentence has me. Like, y'all don't listen. When I say I listen to books, just quick side note, I mean, I listen to books. I haven't even put everything that I've been listening to in the Discord, because I've been like, it's been a time. So we start here, stop trying to focus. And let's see, it's 46 titles: Siren's Call, Vicious Fae, Hooked, The Exception, Hell Fae Commander, Savage Fae, Dark Fae, Hell Fae Warden, Hell Fae Captive, Wicked Bonds, Angel Bonds, Blood Bonds, Immortal Curse series, Hunted Beast. Oh my God, that is so good. Listen. Like, I basically, some of these are 11-hour long books, and I usually finish one in a day. I think it would be awesome. Hi, Kaisha. I haven't seen you in so long. How are you? One of my OGs. I think it would be awesome if the leftists moved to Rumble and took it over, as it's also a free speech app. Yes. Also, I have been trying to listen. I don't know what secret avenue I have to go through to try to get on Nebula, but that would make my day. Because that's the other thing, is that you're seeing that there are, like, this is why I said this, I feel like the last time I streamed, where I've said that there are people who do YouTube and there are YouTubers, and YouTubers are sucky people for the most part. They're just awful. People who do YouTube, though, community. Like, people who just do YouTube, you have community with these folks. You work together. You're always trying to like do things together. You're not ashamed to admit where you get information from. TikTokers will move to Snapchat. You know what? You might be right. I don't know how, I haven't been on Snapchat in so long. The last time I went on there, I was like, what the hell happened to Snapchat? I was like, this is so confusing. I'm elderly. I'm way too elderly for this. I was like, I don't know what happened to the dog ears. I didn't like Snapchat, and I stopped using it pretty early because I absolutely despised that it gave me a false representation of what I look like and made me feel uncomfortable in my own skin. That's a me thing. Everybody doesn't have to have that. But because of like the very heavy filters, like I don't mind a filter here and there, but there's just like, it was very heavy filters. It would change the shape of your face, like all of these things. And it just started really messing with my mind, and I was like, that's not good. So I quit doing it. Zero essence of community on TikTok. I think that there's a lot of community on TikTok. I think you just have to be in the right spots, because like the indie authors are like, they're all kind of working together, at least on the side of TikTok I'm on. They work together. They help promote one another. They drop into each other's lives. I hated Snapchat. I had it for 3 days. It was just really bad for myself. And like, I'm gorgeous. And I was just upset. Like, I was just like, no. Cause it was just like, it was giving me like this different shaped face and making me look thinner. And I was like, I'm already thin. What are you doing? And so it just, it's not good for like your self-esteem. I thought for me, it wasn't good for my self-esteem. So I wasn't about it. But I am concerned, because if they can just snap their fingers and take millions of people's source of income away from them, what's going to happen to the rest of us as creators? It's one of the reasons I'm watching it, because this to me is an argument against free speech. Like this to me is a nail in the coffin of our free speech as Americans. So, in other news, Dell, the computer company, sent out this memo telling people that if they worked from home, they would not be eligible for promotions. And to that, I say, good, that's what we've been asking for. The amount of people who probably were like, perfect, I'm going to work from home because of that. The amount of people who are going into the office and are now like, oh, cool, then I'll work from home and I don't have to worry about a promotion. Like, who wants all that stress? But I do think it's nice for sending your little video messages to your friends. Like, hey, look at my cat doing a funny thing. Yeah, that's cute. But I have Marco Polo. So I'm wondering if TikTokers, I didn't even think about Snapchat, and I'm wondering if TikTokers will move over there, because my understanding is you can make bank off of that. Because I'm pretty sure Shane Dawson and David Dobrik are making like bank off of Snapchat. You just go back to old tech. Because like I wouldn't want to make it on Instagram. I'm like, ugh. I don't want to be promoted. I have enough stress already. Yeah. So what do y'all think about that? Like a company saying like, well, you can work from home, but you're not eligible for promotions. I want to know how many people in here are perfectly comfortable and happy with that being the situation and like, good, thank you, because I don't want a promotion. I just want to do my job and go home. Let me know. Because that's always me. I'm like, that's why I continue to work for the post office, even though it's terrible for my back and my leg, because my route is way too long and needs to get cut. But that's why I'm here, because I'm like, I don't have to worry about promotions and asking me where I want to be. Like, I hate that at job interviews where they're like, where do you see yourself? I'm like, I don't actually. I don't see myself being here at all. I don't want to be here. I'm here because I have bills to pay. Like, thank you for thinking of me, babes, but I'm good. Where did my mouse go? I always lose the mouse. And then I feel like a jackass. I'm like, oh, never mind. You know that sensation where you're like, I'm dumb. And then you're like, no, I'm not. I'm super smart. And I need to remind myself of that. I just heard like the strangest sound and it just like gave me a small bit of panic, but we're good. Ooh, the Ace fam all over Snapchat. They must be paid. Yeah. Snapchat pays a lot of money. I'm working right now because it's tax season. Like, no, I don't want to do more. Stop giving me more things to do. I still have to file my taxes. I'm aware that I'm on a deadline. I just can't make myself do it. I'm so confused. Bo, do you have your toy? Come here, baby. You got the zoomies? What are you doing? I can hear you. Okay, sorry. I have to keep an eye on him because he'll do some shit and I don't know what happens. I don't do a job that could happen in my home, but I don't want a promotion either. I prefer working at work, promotion or not. Janet, that makes sense. I like that I work outside, I guess, depending on the weather. Actually, I wouldn't mind it. Again, if my route was cut, I wouldn't care. Our deadline is 30 April. So my birthday. All right. Who said I wanted a promotion? That's more work. I was doing my taxes and fortunately your live came on. Not me cleaning because I know I need. Listen, when you're a content creator, the second you make any amount of money from this shit, you start hiding from your taxes. You're like, I don't want to do this. And you're like, just hire somebody. The thing is, to properly hire somebody, and this is just me because I know how my brain works, to properly hire somebody, I need one of those folks. And I had interviewed somebody at one point in time, and then I was like, fuck it, who cares? Because at the time I was doing beauty content, and I was like, I'm not going anywhere with this, doesn't matter. Still feel like that. It's a fun time. Thank y'all. But I'm like, it's going to be my hobby. So, but you have to get somebody who basically all the receipts and shit just like go to them. Like it gets filtered. Like you make purchases and it just gets filtered over to them. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. I have never like willingly seen anything from the Ace family. Like everything I know about the Ace family is somewhat, mostly against my will. Hold on. I'm grabbing a couple of things because I thought I had uploaded them and it turns out that I didn't. Um because of course I didn't. I wanted to talk about this one in particular. And maybe that one. I'm going to download like 3 of these and see what happens and see what they say. Do you know what I mean? We shall see. And see what happens with that. I know, it's like, let's all happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. And like, this is another thing about the US that I just find obnoxious. Like, they know what I owe. So why are we doing this little dance? Every year we do this little dance. I hate it. Every year we're doing this stupid little dancey dance. And I can't understand why we're doing this little dancey dance. Like, why can't you just be nice to me? Okay. Like, just tell me how much I owe if I owe something. And if I don't owe anything, then I don't owe anything. Like, why are you making it so hard? Oh, this is something I really wanted to talk about because we were talking about the patriarchy and, well, kind of. I'm like, well, kind of. But we were talking about this and I meant to make it look neat and nice, but I didn't do it. And let me see. Browse. Okay. I'm going to see if I can bring this up. Let me know if y'all can hear this when I do bring it up and see if I do this kind of right.
And says something.
Oh.
And says something to you about me, even if it's negative. But I'm also a little on the fence about this because if someone who has been or is in my life comes and says something to
I'm like, pause. First of all, let me just do this right quick. I'm gonna
says something to you about me, even if it's negative. But I'm also a little on the fence about this because if someone who has been or is in my life comes and says something to you about me, even if it's negative, I might tell you believe them. Because what did they do to get me to that point? I am absolutely a villain in some people's stories. You know, but people's minds and memories are selective, and they just start to where I became the villain. And I have no qualms about that. I can absolutely be very comfortable being the villain in your story because I know myself well enough to know I will never wake up and intentionally want to hurt you out of the blue. And even when you hurt me, I will never want to hurt you back. But you best believe I will stand my ground. You will no longer have access to me. And if I come off as cruel, if I come off as a villain, so be it. But I'm also...
do the properties and then we'll try it out. I'm like, then we'll do the properties and we'll be like rocking and rolling. Okay. And it's probably going to sort of almost play twice. So I'm going to bring it back up and then we will discuss this one. I never know why or how I make this like weird, but here we go. You can still hear it? Even when I hit mute? That's wild. Okay. It is not playing for me for reasons. Oh, wait. I know why. Hold on. Do I? I always say that and then I don't know why. So you all heard the whole thing? Or do you want me to try it again? Let me know. Also, I've started sweating again. I'm like, let me know. Because I can never understand why I will get them to play here. But I can't get them to do what I want elsewhere. But if worse comes to worse, I have one other little thing that we can chitty chat about before I go and relax for a little bit before we watch a movie at the I want to watch Vicious Fun with the patrons and channel members. I genuinely don't know why it does that. Oh, you know what I can do? Hold on. I've got an idea. Why does my brain do too much so often? Okay. Layla Soleil. Okay. I'm sweating, y'all. I'm already on that sweaty Salehi. Okay. I like her. Videos. Because I think I can show it this way. I'm still sweating. I can't find it the way that I thought I would find it. Anyways, I liked that. I'm like, anyways, I liked that. That was great. I'm so sorry that I ruined it. But basically, the end result is the same. I don't know what's going to happen. I think that as content creators, we need to be more careful about talking shit about other platforms just generally, because our realization is that most of it is because we just can't do it and we're not doing well. So I don't know why it will play, but then I can't hear it whenever I use this particular format. But let me try one other thing that I think would actually work for me. Let me see if we can hear it if I can hear it on this side so that we can.
Comes and says something.
Okay, there we go. I just figured it out. Listen. I'm like, listen. Look at me being a semi-winner. Yeah. So now we can talk about these things because boom, I got them here. Look at me. We're going to do it again. So sorry, but also no, I'm not.
You about me, even if it's negative, but I'm also a little on the fence about this because if someone who has been or is in my life comes and says something to you about me, even if it's negative, I might tell you believe them. Because what did they do to get me to that point? I am absolutely a villain in some people's stories, you know? But people's minds and memories are selective. And they just start to where I became the villain. And I have no qualms about that. I can absolutely be very comfortable being the villain in your story.
Yeah.
Because I know myself well enough to know I will never wake up and intentionally want to hurt you out of the blue. And even when you hurt me, I will never want to hurt you back. But you best believe I will stand my ground. You will no longer have access to me. And if I come off as cruel, if I come off as a villain, so be it. But I'm also...
Okay. The reason I wanted to bring that up, and it actually fits into what we were just talking about, which is why there's not a lot of beauty like podcasts where people are talking about all the things and the ins and outs, is because you're absolutely the villain in somebody's story. The only thing I disagree with is like where she was like, I will intentionally destroy you, but I'm a Taurus. So listen, I will intentionally come after you and try to ruin your life because that's who I am as a person. Thank you. Hope you enjoy your destruction, bitch. But I'm like, I will cheer on your downfall. When you have hit the bottom, I'm going to laugh at every opportunity I get. That's who I am. At least I acknowledge this about myself. Some people pretend. But it is because of the fact that people really don't understand how you got to the villain status. It's like when people get very surprised when suddenly you blow up. They're like, oh my God, I don't know. And you're like, no, I've been going through this with you for like so long. And this was my breaking point. My breaking point happened. And I'm very irritated that you never paid attention to where I was getting here and where I would say to you, like, hey, you're on thin ice, buddy. Listen, that still eats, but you're on thin ice, buddy. And like telling people, and then they just act like you were kidding the entire time. I think not allowing people to have access to you is also a big part of it. So I think that when you add that into why, as an Aries, I am not kind enough to act with grace and be the bigger person, especially when that person hurts my friend's family, 100%. I'm not going to do that. I will never be the bigger person. Maybe I'm taller, but I'm not. I am petty. If you hurt me, I'm going to hurt you back. Thank you. Eye for an eye. Except I'm going to eye, leg, one of your ears. I'm really going to make this a situation. But yeah, I love this sentiment so much because people just don't understand. When I cut you out of my life, like I cut you out of my life, it's over. But I think that when you're looking at it through the lens of why there aren't enough beauty podcasts and talking about like the ins and outs and all of this, it is because of this theory here. Like, I don't care if I'm the villain in somebody's story. I know what you did to get me there. And the issue is a lot of people won't talk about the part as to what got it there. I also am aware that there are larger creators who would not allow you to tell your side. Because like we were talking about the Gabby and Manny thing. The reason he did that is because, again, he's out of touch with what's happening today. And so, of course, he's going to do that sly type of like, and I can't believe it. It's very much giving. You know when Illuminati Blair tried to shade Cruel World Happy Mind, and was just like, I mean, I'm not even paying attention, just like the small creator, like very much giving that energy. And we don't like that energy because you saw what happened when that went down. It didn't go well. I think generally the conscience of the people who understand content creation as a job and as something that people do for employment, and they enjoy the content in any ways that they can, those people don't allow for this old school bullying mentality. And this used to be the minority, but it's growing more and more into the majority. So I do think that we're reaching a stage where people are no longer interested in larger creators using their platform to like bully smaller creators into silence. And so they will do things like try to make somebody a villain in their story, but they don't tell you how we got here. So that does loop back around, and I'm feeling a bit smart about that. Also, this one I want to share with y'all because I am so happy that this is happening. Okay. Please understand that I have so much joy in my heart that this is taking place. This is from a creator.
The man that got physically violent with her, and then when the kids tried to stop it, he beat
Hold on. This creator is, I can't read all of that, but I like her and I follow her. And if I can, I will link their TikTok accounts after I'm done.
The man that got physically violent with her, and then when the kids tried to stop it, he beat up the kids. Then he went on to executive produce a movie about women escaping deviant relationship. Baby, I think Angelina has been through enough. I think she can sit this one out.
Brad Pitt slander has entered the chat, and listen, if there's one thing, if there are no Brad Pitt haters on this earth, then I am dead. I hate Brad Pitt. I have hated Brad Pitt from day none, from the days of the Legend of the Fall or whatever it is. And everybody's like, Brad Pitt this and I have hated Brad Pitt with my entire spirit, my entire soul. I always knew that man was dirty and he was wrong and I was correct. I have been correct for 2 decades. Okay, that's my insane. Like, that is my rant. I need one of my goals in life is for people to stop calling women homewreckers, because that doesn't make any sense. And I know that there's gonna be somebody who's gonna bring up Ariana Grande. No, it's still those men's faults. I'm sorry. And I'm not saying this to say that women don't have faults or whatnot. I'm saying this because if you are in a relationship, it is your job as the person in the relationship to decline advances from others. That's your job. That's your job. Nobody can get involved with somebody who's not interested in being involved with them. It's like that's impossible. It's impossible. Stop blaming these women. That's like misogyny in your brains. Like, I know you're like, yeah, but she's still not. She is not married. Now, if both y'all married, I have problems with both of you. But thank you, Ocean. I don't even like Gwyneth Paltrow. But that's when I was like done with him. Because first of all, what were you doing with Gwyneth Paltrow? Second of all, people keep forgetting that he was engaged to Gwyneth Paltrow. And this is just off of my memory, so I could be incorrect, but it was like really, really close to when they were supposed to actually get married. And then they called the engagement off. And he later publicly said that he did not believe in marriage, and then turns around and marries Jennifer freaking Aniston, who was glorious and gorgeous. And then, of course, because he wants to go through his next phase of life, which is I want to have kids, he starts wanting to be like, Jen, let's have kids. And people forget that Jennifer Aniston at that point in time was at the height of her motherfucking career, and she was doing something that TV actresses have a hard time doing. And what is that thing? It is getting from TV to the big screen. And she was making a big screen thing. Like her debut, she was doing good. She was like getting separated from being like Rachel. You know, she was Jennifer Aniston now, not Rachel. This is, listen, special interest. Hold on to your boots, okay? So then he's with her trying to get Jennifer Aniston to settle down and have babies at the top of her career. She's like, I don't think so. So you know what he does? He turns his evil sights onto Angelina Jolie, who already has a ready-made family for him. He slides in there. And then as soon as he realizes that, you know, Angelina's ready to like, you know, be settled and chill and be mom and have that mom life going on, and his dirty, stanky, funky ass is bored, then he's like, let's get divorced. And he's trying to steal everything that he can from her. This piece of shit deserves nothing but the worst in life. Excuse me. I feel like I've been holding that in. I feel like I've been holding that in for a long time. Oh my God. He's just left behind a trail of bodies. And he's always been unbelievably cruel to each and every one of those women he's left. Just cruel to each and every single one of them. Never treats them with respect after it's over. Tries to like just suck out every piece of joy that they could possibly have. He is the absolute worst. I feel so good now. My Brad Pitt hatred has been released. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling amazing. Yeah. Yeah. It is. Thank you. It is good to let things out sometimes. I've been holding on to this like rage that I've had against Brad Pitt for so long, because everybody's just, oh, he's so attractive. I don't care how many like abs he has. I don't care how good he looked in Fight Club. Like, he is a horrible human being. And then Mr. Craterface started a beauty company. Thank you. Thank you. He is wrangling with Angelina to keep their vineyard. Like, why can't you just leave her alone? Like, go away. Please. You've already damaged everyone that you've been with, and now he's with some woman half his age. And girl, you better run. Run for your life, baby. Because you were his old life crisis, so. And he started that beauty company, I think, to do something with the remnants of his vineyard. Like, I hate him. Like, I told you, when I started that and I said, if there is not a Brad Pitt hater left on this earth, then I am dead. I meant that shit 100%. Like, with every ounce of my being, I have been waiting for the fall of Brad Pitt, okay? I have been sitting here just being like, maybe someday everybody will see. I hate him so much. I can't stand his ass. Sometimes you don't even realize how deeply your hatred flows. You just don't. Like, cause it's just everybody be like, oh, he's so this. And I was just like, I literally asked, great for your face. Like, I've sat here in silence. Listen, Dark Angel, when I read a romance novel, okay, and I'm not talking about like, I always read fantasy romance because honestly, I tried to read like regular, like billionaire style romance and I just couldn't, because the way that this woman just like couldn't seem to control herself. She's like, oh my God, a man, he's so attractive. I can't keep my legs together. And I just want to know, like in real life, has anyone ever been so attracted to somebody that they're like pressing their thighs together, like in public? Like, no hate if you are, but that's literally never happened to me. And I get that I'm aromantic, but there was a time when I thought I was romantic. So I'm just asking questions. But I just can't stand it. So I always do fantasy romance, and it's usually dark fantasy romance. And you know the character I love the most? The like evil, violent one. Listen, when Troy came out and everyone was all about him, I was confused. Did they not see Eric Bana? Listen, I am what is his name? He was in the remake. Now I can't remember his name all of a sudden. Irish fella. So fine. That's whose camp I'm in. Every time. I can't remember his name now. Because he was in Beowulf. Because Troy and Beowulf came out around the same time. Listen, this is ADHD in action, y'all. Like me literally just being like, bleh. But, and he's like, fine. And I know his name. Handsome Irish fella. He's in Penguin. Colin Farrell. Listen. The dark fantasies I made up about me and Colin Farrell. But he's not like a person in them. Like he's not like Colin Farrell. You know what I mean? He is a faking. Anyways, he's a faking. All right. Not faking, fae, F-A-E-K-I-N-G. 2 words. He does things with magic and water. So let me, he can make the water touch your body in a very sexy way. And it's very sensual, caressing your skin. Anyways, that's once again, this is what I mean by I'm aromantic. But like, no, there were 2 of them. There's 2 Beowulfs. Wait, was it? Because there's one with Angelina, right? And Colin Farrell. And she played his mom. And he was Beowulf. Or was he that one thing? Was it the other movie with the time period? Alexander the Great? And it was called Alexander? Because I feel like there was like this weird period of time where there were all these like dusty sand period pieces. That's what I like to call them. The dusty sand. Because back in the day where everything was dusty and sandy. He's also much taller in the things, He's much taller. That's why I like it. I can make you as tall as I want to. Alexander. Was it called Alexander? Yes. Did I say that? No, maybe. But yes, just listen. Angelic. That reminds me of that show with the woman and Orlando with the Fae. He was fire in Daredevil. Whew. Listen, when he was in the remake of that movie with the vampires, I'm really not kidding when I do this because like I love the movie. Fright Night, got it. The way like my body refused to listen. My body was like, aromantic, who? And I was like, shh. Oh, Alexander was terrible. So was No Country for Old Men. One of my top, I hate that movie. Like, No Country for Old Men. I'm always going to say it. I want my 3.5 hours back. Liv Tyler. He did have a little freaky with Britney. Fright Night, Fright Night remake is so good. And that's a very rare occurrence where you take a movie that I already enjoyed and remake it and it's still good. Like this is a rare occurrence for me. So I so Colin Farrell certainly got around. I think what helped him was having a baby, because didn't he also get caught with a prosty? I'm trying to be careful about how I word things on, YouTube, but I feel like he got caught with a lady of the evening. I'm like, a lady of the evening, but I do feel like he did get caught with a lady of the evening. Also, just a side note, please don't ever ask me about the movie Poor Things. I'm not going to watch it. It does not relate to me. I'm sorry. Also, my my avoidance will not let me watch it. The more people talk about it, the less I want to see it. Like, yeah. It's why I've never actually seen Titanic. I have never actually seen that movie. I'm never going to see it. You can't make me watch it. There's no world in which I will. There was so much hype and buzz around it. I refused to watch it then. And I'm going to keep it that way. Cause like now I can't, cause I'm just like, y'all built it up, So before I go, I'm going to leave you with, a little story and, about my route, which is cute. And I'm also going to leave you with a little bit of knowledge. First and foremost, I know that many of us with ADHD have a hard time doing tasks, and don't beat yourself up if you're having a hard time trying to put away your laundry. I know that in your head, you've built it up that it's going to be an hour of your time to put the laundry away. In real life, it's like maybe 15 minutes. Don't beat yourself up after you're done. Just like have that pride feeling. Be like, oh my God, I did it. You took the whole bucket, you put everything away. Feel good about the fact that you did it. Okay. You did it. That's the winning part. And I know you're gonna do this again. Like the next basket of laundry is also going to make you feel the same way, and you're going to avoid it. And then you're going to try to beat yourself up when you're like, oh my God, it didn't even take that long. Why did I build it up? You have ADHD. It's fine. Live your life. It's okay. You're fine. You're just going to keep doing it. It's a circle. It's a cycle. It's fine. You're fine. It's going to take what it takes. Titanic is overrated. Thank you, Michelle. I am so lucky that April, I love you. Listen. If you watch Fright Night now, I don't know. Oh, I have one more thing before I tell you the work story. Another reason I really wanted to talk about the TikTok thing, for anybody who made it this far on the replay, like, I don't know how you managed to make it through me, like, being a little wild duck, but I just missed y'all and I wanted to come and chat. So that's who I am as a person. So for those of y'all who don't know, one of the reasons that YouTube algorithm, this is my theory, this is my conjecture, you heard it here first. One of the reasons that YouTube is pushing long form content so hard is because YouTube is on the precipice of becoming the streaming platform. Here's why. Hear me out. Listen up. Amazon and Netflix are both trying to charge people a lot of money for a service that you already pay for to not have ads. And they're like, if you don't want ads, then you have to pay another tier up. And people have been leaving in droves. But you know who's kept the promise about not having ads? Aside from creator content, sponsored content is a whole other thing. I really do think that YouTube needs to get on an actual pay scale so that they can keep it. That's for another day. But YouTube doesn't do that shit to you. Like, I have Paramount Plus on YouTube. Now, as a content creator who also does film and movie stuff on my AMC channel, Audra's Media Corner, which I'm actually filming stuff for, I just haven't edited yet. So there's some ADHD tips that will work for me. And then there's others where I'm like, no. Like when they're like, set an alarm to do, I can't do that because I'm going to forget about setting the alarm. I do like whoever said set like a playlist of certain songs. That was very helpful. I usually set mine by video. So anyways, YouTube is set to become the streaming platform. They really are. They have been pushing long form content because a lot of boomers actually do watch YouTube and they watch it on the television. I know this because my mom does. I also know this because they watch TikTok on TV as well. And the whole point is to get people to stay on the app for as long as possible. And if you have long form content on YouTube created by people like myself who are poor, then that's like even more free stuff that they're getting and they're putting advertising on. So remember like 2 years ago, it's 2024. So this would have been 3 or 4 years ago when I said that there's going to come a day where no more will people actually have to do like a whole sponsored segment. Like if you're a live streamer, you will actually just be using the product. Like I'll be like, oh, this part of the stream is sponsored by Satan. Not actually Satan, obviously. Would you? But Satan, great things. And then all I do throughout the rest of the thing is like drink from my Satan cup. And that's like, and I'm getting paid to just drink out of that. That's where we're going. Listen, I just needed everybody to hear my little theory before I roll. So the last thing I've got for you, because I got to take out big boy. Y'all, he's going to see the vet on Tuesday. He's getting his teeth cleaned. And for those of you who don't know, they have to put cats under as well. They have to put pets under to like clean their teeth. He's got like a lot. He has all of his teeth, but he needs them to be cleaned. Also, his breath is funky. So it's going to stress me out a little bit because I don't like it. But I'm so excited for him to have fresh breath. Yeah, Bo. Anyways, on my route, there's a house, has goats. Now, these goats, they get free from time to time. And I like, listen, I like to call them the escape goats. So I do. And there's like tiny baby ones. But the other day, I rolled up and I always talk to them every day. I drive by. I'm like, hi, goats. How are y'all? But the other day I rolled by and I was like, hi, goats. How are you? And then the goat goes, eh. And then I was like, hi. And it was like, eh. And I was like, you're so cute. And it's like, eh. The goat's talking to me. I'm trying to get them used to my voice so I can go up and pet them. Okay. I'm going to pet the goats. When this happens, I am going to look forward to telling each and every one of you about the day I pet the goats. I have now pet a horse, which was honestly one of the scariest things I think I've done in a long time. Big teeth, but their muzzles are so soft. It's a very strange sensation. I've pet a donkey. I'm going to get close to petting a pig. There's another guy on the route who has an emu, not an emo. He has an emu, and the emu likes to chase the ducks around, which I find hilarious. So I'm living the life that so many of you want to live. I'm just kidding. You don't. You have back problems. But yes, baby goats are the best. I want to pet them. I saw like on a TikTok where this woman's like literally feeding this goat like little soup or something. It's very slurpy, but I love them. The owner was like, let me know if you want one. First of all, Of course I want a goat, sir. Of course I want one. That's like, let me know if you want one of our puppies. Of course I do. The thing is, I can't just come home with a goat. My mom's not going to like that. She's going to be like, Audra, why the hell do you have a goat? And I'm just going to be like, why wouldn't we have a goat? That's usually how I counter my mom's arguments. Whenever I'm doing something outlandish, she'd be like, Audra, why is there a goat in our backyard? And I'm like, I don't know why we didn't have a goat in our backyard, Mom. And then she would look at me and I would look at her and she would be like, and I would be like, and then she'd have to try to figure out how to reword it. Anyways, thank you, El Boogie. It's becoming like my favorite thing. I found it and I was like, I got to keep this because I tell the worst puns and I think it's funny. And I like to share that with y'all. I like to make my streams a little goofy, a little fun time. If you have anything you think that I should be talking about, maybe later this week, actually, because I'm off Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because I'm off to make sure that if Bo has any adverse reactions, I am home and I can take him to the vet if anything happens after the fact, because my mom can't pick him up. He's almost 80 pounds. I can, she cannot. So I'm off. So if there's anything that y'all see that's happening or whatnot, let me know in the comments down below. Y'all are so wonderful. Thank you for relaxing with me and just talking bullshit and enjoying talking about the TikTok ban, goats, and all the other things we get up to in these streams. Sometimes they're super focused and sometimes they're not. But until next time, as I always say, I am so pretty and so are you.